Before we begin, I'd like to announce a new Sonicguru t-shirt available on Spreadshirt, along with a Blue Runners variant, linked in the description below. Hello and welcome to another episode of Blue Blur. I'm your host, Sonicguru, and we're exploring the idea of who the ancients were, what they did, and whether or not they survived throughout time. The ancients are a commonly talked about civilization within the Sonic Boom universe. They were highly advanced and, long ago, devoted themselves to peacefully controlling the world's resources. However, they were betrayed by a rogue ancient named Lyric, whom they imprisoned after a costly war. Over the following centuries, the ancients would go nearly extinct, with the exception of Lyric. In modern times, much of what remains of the ancients include their old ruins and abandoned creations. Depending on the game and TV show, the history of the ancients and Lyric's betrayal differ in terms of what Lyric was after, such as the Chaos Crystals or other races who lived alongside them, but the overall thread is the same. The ancients helped build the world as we know it, and Lyric betrayed them after he became greatly ill and believed that technology was the planet's true future and not organic life. This prompted a civil war between them that led to most of the ancients being wiped out before a spare few managed to imprison Lyric and trap him in stasis until his eventual return 1000 years later, or Sonic's incompetence 5000 years later. Throughout Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric and Shattered Crystal, we see many of the old facilities and creations that still work despite the amount of time that passed. The biggest questions regarding the ancients is, who were they? What were the resources they were controlling, and are they still around? Because other than Lyric and what we see, the ancients are still shrouded in mystery. Before we get into the meat of these questions, I'd like to draw a comparison between Sonic Boom and Jak and Daxter. Yes, it is quite an obvious comparison, seeing how Big Red Button has had ex-Naughty Dog employees work on both games. But the lore of Jak and Daxter and its precursors could very well answer these questions for the ancients. From the concept art, the prequel comic included in Shattered Crystal, and the many effigies found throughout the land, the ancients were a union of various races. These individuals could very well have been the most wise and intelligent of the respective races or clans, as opposed to Otzols, who disguised their real personas with large bug-like humanoid monuments. With their minds combined, they created the technology used to harness and control the world's resources, much like with the precursors who controlled Eco, their planet's own life force. I'd assume that the planet's resources are similar to Eco, and they did the same thing and used it to power their creations such as mech suits and time machines. This is just from what we see, but the ancients could have also used the resources to help with building villages, create medicines, and agriculture, similar to what the precursors did by distributing the various colors of Eco across the world, be it green Eco for farms or blue Eco for the various creations they themselves left behind that channel it. Since their costly victory against Lyric, the resources had to be maintained, structured, and to continue benefiting the world they almost lost, hence the rings. These rings are the physical manifestation of one of the planet's resources, similar to the materia from Final Fantasy VII. These rings literally appear from the planet's surface as Sonic and the gang traverse across the land. Unlike in the main series of Sonic games, the rings in Sonic Boom are not used as currency, but rather a power source or a shield from damage. As for the other resources, it could have been the various gems of power in the many temples that are still being excavated to this day, from the 8 powerful Chaos Crystals to the lesser known yet more common Maroki Crystal and Fugosi Sapphire. So we've covered who they were and what the resources were. Now we move on to the final and biggest question I have about the ancients. Did they survive throughout the thousands of years? Except for Earl Tucker, who lived during the time of the ancients and is over 1000 years old. Like I mentioned before, a lucky few survived long enough to imprison Lyric. With their peers lost and their technology almost used to destroy the world, it's not unlikely that these ancients went their separate ways to live among the people they helped to protect, or to live a life secluded from society, plagued by guilt. Over the 1 to 5 millenniums, the ancients settled down and began the first of many generations of ancient descendants, passing down their teachings and stories of the ancients' past. So now we come to the present time and we have not one, not 2, but 3 possible candidates to being an ancient descendant. Candidate number 1, Percy. Percy is an obvious choice to make. Excluding her twin Stacy, Percy's bio says she is the latest descendant in a line of protectors for Gnome Name Village, now known as Hedgehog Village. In Rise of Lyric, she requests that you help out in the fight against Lyric by powering the various ancient defense mechanisms. With her demeanor and knowledge of ancients, her ancient ancestor could have possibly started a family line of protectors. How else would she know who Lyric is and what the ancient machines do? Candidate number 2. Shadow. Shadow is another obvious choice to make. At the time of writing, we don't have any information regarding his history. We know that he has a very strong sense of justice and will do anything, even killing, to achieve it. He prefers to walk alone, sees friendship as a sign of weakness, and sees Sonic as an arch rival. His presence in Rise of Lyric as he watches Team Sonic enter Lyric's tomb suggests that he is the watcher or guardian of the Ancients' more nefarious landmarks. Similar to his main series counterpart, he could have been created by the Ancients to watch over these tombs, but was awakened due to the many excavations. Either that, or he's the latest descendant in a line of Guardians, specifically Hedgehogs, which would explain his animosity towards Sonic and his cavalier attitude on why he prefers to work alone. Candidate number 3. Knuckles. This may seem like an odd choice, but aside from Percy, Knuckles is the most likely to be an ancient descendant. What supports this is the fact that the many towering effigies and engravings depict echidnas, much like those of Angel Island and Mystic Forest. Like his legacy counterpart, Knuckles is the last echidna. In an early episode of Blue Blur, I theorized that the echidnas gradually died out after being isolated on an Angel Island for centuries. In Sonic Boom, Knuckles also hails from Angel Island, but aside from that, we don't know anything about his family's history. So who's to say that the lineage of ancient echidnas didn't die out the same way, living isolated from society, guarding secrets until we're left with Knuckles? Which is kinda bittersweet. Now these 3 are the strongest possible candidates for the Ancients, but that's not to say that they're the only ones that could exist. Again, the legends and myths of the Ancients were passed down over several generations, ranging from 1000 to 5000 years. Who knows, maybe everyone is related to an Ancient, be it Sonic with his trademark speed, Amy and an interest in the Ancients, or even Styx. So what do you think? Does this answer who, what, and where the Ancients are? Let me know in the comments below. This has been Blue Blur, thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos, check the description or click on the annotation for more videos. And if you want to see future videos, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Sonicguru Productions. You can also support this channel over on Patreon. Thanks again everyone, I've been Sonicguru, and I'll see you next time.